Hey all people just on the internet, it is Kimberly Girl here. I would like to welcome you to my first drawing lesson. And before we get started, I want to tell you beforehand that I sometimes get in loss for words and I don't know how to express myself. Yes, even after this time I've been doing YouTube, I'm still not comfortable with it, so I'm sorry. Anyway, let's just get started. Today I'm going to show you how to draw eyes and a head. So this is more of an anime slash manga like style. You could also use this for cartoons, even though anime and manga is more complex, going into detail and that kind of stuff. But as you can see, I already drew some things. That's because I've been trying to record this video a few times. That doesn't matter, you're not interested in it. But let's say you're a beginner and you want to draw something like this. As you already can see on the top left corner, you want to draw a basic shape of a head and a face, but you don't know how to start out. Don't be discouraged. I got some tips here for you, and even if it doesn't work for your first time in drawing something, just keep practicing and I promise you that you will get better as you go. Now, what you will see in a lot of drawing books, and even if you've taken drawing lessons, when you're going to start off with a face, most people draw an oval shape or a round circular kind of face. It really depends on what kind of posture your character has, because if you're drawing a chibi, then you're not going to start off with a slim oval shape, then you're going to just draw a circle and move from there. But if it's a skinny character or maybe a little chubby, then you could just easily go with oval. So we're gonna draw some help lines first. This is depending on which direction you want your character to look at, but since this oval is a little bit more face to the side, I want eyes to go this way, so the head is also slightly turned. Speaking of which, now we're gonna draw the help line for the eyes. So how we're going to do that is we're going to drag a line across the face and then we're going to make a sort of a circle. Now you will see why in a minute, because this is going to go flowing in a more natural shape, but we will get to that way later. For the eyes, you normally use these lines as you're drawing portraits or something, as a guidance to what part is gonna come above this line and what's gonna come below it, because the eye is mostly split in upper half and the lower half, and you can use this line as guidance. But since anime characters, their eyes are like ginormous most of the time, I like to use this line more as a placement to where the lower part is gonna go. So I suggest you would look up some references of different shapes of eyes for the character you're going to draw. Not all characters have these lower lashes or a lower part of the eye. Some have them connected, but others just have an upper part and there's nothing to it on the lower half. It's just a freaking iris and a pupil and there's nothing here. That's also an option, but it really depends on what you want. However, right now I'm going to show you the eye I'm always drawing for my OC character. only this time it's going to be more flat above, so it's not going to have a little bit more of circular roundings. It's going to be more flattish. Now, I know this might be hard the first try, especially when you want to make them even on each side, but just keep on trying, okay? You can do it. I know you will. I know you can! Yes, you can! As for the nose, again, it depends on what kind of shape you're going for. If you're going for a more triangular shape, you can just do this. And there's also variation in the shadow placement, because sometimes I draw it like this. I place a double line on the sides, but I color this a darker shade of skin tone. So I'm not coloring it with black, but other times you can just color it with black. It kind of depends on what sort of personality you want to give the face, because coloring this space black gives it more of a hard appearance, and it pops more off the paper, especially when you're working with different shades of gray. So you could just decide that for yourself. You could also just look up some noses for cartoon characters. You could also look at references from anime and manga, or even for anime bases. That's also very helpful. But they're really, oh, this, I drew this a little bit too close. Never mind that, okay. Some male characters have this little piece connected to the bridge of the nose. A clear, how should I say this? In fan art from the medic from Team Fortress, you also see a lot of artists who draw him in a more cartoonish way, and then they use this kind of shape for the nose. Of course, the bridges more pop up, and yeah, medic-ish. The way the medic is. Anyway. Again, a lot of shapes, sizes, ways you could draw a nose, but if you're starting out with the basics, I suggest for now you would stick with this kind of nose, just a sort of triangle shape. You can decide on the shadows right now, you can decide on it later, doesn't matter. For the mouth, again, there's a lot of different shapes and sizes and things you could do for expressions. Some parts of the mouth are not fully connected, as you can see in some animes. Others just draw it like this, and others have full-on lips. They only have bottom lips, not really upper lips, but sometimes the female characters do have these very Princess Peach-like lips, let's just say that. Or a very happy open mouth. Again, you could just leave the space blank if you prefer it that way, or if you're having trouble drawing teeth and a tongue and stuff, but you could also do this, or a smirk, or whatever you like. I'm not really sure what kind of expression I'm going for here. Maybe it's better to just do something easy for you. So let's just go with a little mud. And I see that I made a little bit of a mistake in there. Oh shit, we get to that later. For the eyes, there are a lot of different ways you could give it some character. But if you go to the eyelids, some people draw them like this, and some drag them all the way across the eye. I wouldn't always recommend it. But if you like it, then I say go for it. I mean, who is stopping you? Again, with eyelashes, draw as few as you want. I'm just not going to do too many of them. I just want to give you a little bit of an impression on what the possibilities are, and let me tell you, the sky is the limit. So there's really no end to what you could draw. Same goes for the eyebrows. There are so many shapes, so many forms, so many how should I put it? So many ways you could draw it. Because these are more of a regular type of eyebrows, but if you like it, you could also look at some very iconic game characters. Bowser has those too, sorta. I think they're thicker. Bowser's eyebrows are a little bit more, a little different. Anyway, yeah, male characters sometimes are more likely to have very thick eyebrows, but they could also sometimes be small. It's also a way to portray a character, so it all goes within the design of a character. Some characters like Britain from Italia, and I don't remember what that other character was called, but they just have stripes for eyebrows, and then it just gets smaller and it stops at a certain type, certain amount, sorry, not type, certain amount of stripes. But yeah, you could just go whatever you want. If you have you think it's difficult to draw them, you could just go with a little stripe. And then try to draw the exact same on this side. Unless you're going for, let's say, a sort of winky, or no, not winky, more like, what the hell are you doing with your life? Kind of look in that eyes, and you could just go with two different shapes. Like one eyebrow is a little bit more crooked and the other one is more lower. And the same goes for the pupil and the iris. A lot of anime characters have this, for example. Oh shit. Really round eyes. And then this is all black. So let's say that's the iris. The pupil, I'm sorry. What the hell is wrong with this pencil all of a sudden? I do not know. Let's pick this one. A little bit crappy, shitty quality. God. Oh gosh. But some have a very large pupil that fills almost the entire space of the iris, and then they have a little bit more of detail there. Some characters also have a small oval pupil and then a small iris, and then some details and lightning, of course. You could also just add that in there. There are also characters who have this kind of shape in the eye. I sometimes draw this, or as they do at Italia, for example, you have this kind of shape for a lot of male characters, and they don't really have a pupil, but then they use different kind of layers of color. So say this is light green and then this is dark green, and then there's a little bit of light green in there, that lifts the whole thing up, and then of course the light points. That's also a way to work, so you don't necessarily have to draw a pupil if you don't like that. There are also some certain expressions, like for example, if a character is possessed and they look a little bit dull in the eyes, like, oh, I'm so tired, let me just sleep, gosh darn it, then their eyes are dull, I suppose I could call it that. They don't really have a pupil, they don't really have light points in there. Sometimes the edge is very dark, and then they have more of a gradient effect in the eye. So let's say then this eye is gray, and then it moves from a really dark gray to a lighter point. Sometimes they also do this with the edges. They don't have a very dark edge, but wait, I'm gonna show you. They don't really have a very thick black line there, but they have a darker shade around or inside it, and then a lighter color within that. So it kind of feels like it's the edge of the eye, but yet it's not. So it really depends on what type you're drawing. If it's a lizard or a snake, it could also be very pointy. But if you're drawing a snake, I wouldn't really go for this. I would go for a more flattened approach. This is still not the thing that I wanted. Whoopsie daisy. But more of a freaking flat-ish thing. Let's see if I can fix it a little. Just a little bit. It's still not what I really meant, but we are getting there. But yeah, it really just depends on the character and characteristics and the expression you want to give your character. What's also important is the way they're looking. So let's say they're looking upwards, then you're not gonna draw the full pupil like you normally would, because it's gonna be cut by the eye line. So if they're gonna look up, that's the eye line. The pupil is cut in half, sorta. You can kind of draw the full thing. And same goes for below. For the rule for this goes as below as up, so below. That movie was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was scary, but it was pretty okay. But yeah, same goes for down, and as it's go in the middle, then it's also kind of the placement of the pupil that does it. Also, the thickness of the eye line kind of suggests what your character is trying to implying. Some characters also have just this and there's nothing in it, it's just white, but this is a little bit thicker. This is more like, oh no, something scary is happening, you know? A little bit more of a shocked expression, but you could also just draw little dots. It's really up to you what you like most. Let's say our character is gonna look to this. You could also draw lines if you prefer that. Little help lines as to where the eyes are gonna go. But I don't really use that. I never have, but if it helps you, then I say go for it. As I just told you, we're gonna change this shape of the face as well. So even if you look at other people, their faces, you see that the face slightly curves inwards where the eye is, and then for the cheekbones it goes up. So I would like you to do that, to move this slightly up and then come down in a little curve. Then you can draw a chin, you could draw a pointy chin, it's really weird. You could draw a freaking this, whatever you like. But as we stick to the theme of the freaking skinny girl, we're gonna do this. Okay, so as you reach the jawline, you can draw this on different ways as well. You could just give it a hard appearance by going directly up and giving it a hard edge, but you could also give it a round approach. You could also move it a little bit more out, so it's not directly implying that it's gonna be making a different way of going up. As for the ears, it's slightly, it's here somewhere near the nose, and it's with drawing portraits, it's somewhere near the eyebrow. But again, it depends on what you want to draw. If you draw an elf ear, for example, then I would prefer to make it a little bit longer than it normally would be. And I have the same with mermaids fins and stuff I sometimes use for my drawings. I don't know why I'm so crappy at drawing these examples so quickly right now. I'm just gonna have to bear with me. But yeah, something like that. And then of course shadowing. Shadows. But shadowing and shit comes later, as you decide your light points, which we're not gonna do just yet, because we're gonna draw hair first. Again, many shapes, many types, many things you could do. What I'm gonna do, just to keep it simple for you guys, is to add a little bit of a breeze to the hair. So you're gonna learn how hair will or could move in wind. It also depends on how strong it is blowing in your cartoon. So say it's a tornado, then the hair could be standing up straight. But if it's just a gentle breeze, then it can just slightly curve. Like so. And then you can make it fall before the eyes, or you could, what I sometimes do is, depending also on the hair length, but making it move around the neck. This is kind of crappy drawn right now. but it's just to give you a quick example as to how hair could go. Again, it's really up to you. And then you could add some accessories or whatever you feel like in there. But that's basically the tips I got for the face. So yeah, that's all I have for this little video. I know it's kind of crappy, but hey, I will try to do it better the next time. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please let me know in the comments below what other drawing tips you would like me to give. Also, if there's a certain character from a video game, anime, or someone from real life you want to see me draw, then please let me know and I will probably make a video out of it. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!